We'll compare the Greenwich time with plus zones and minus zones, just like we had said the other time, but now let's input countries. China is a +8 country. China is so far ahead of Greenwich time. They are faster in everything. Well, that's just a joke, but don't worry. China is not coming to you. China is just on the screen. We're just using it as an illustration, okay? Don't be afraid. All right, we also have Qatar. We have Egypt, we have Greenland, New York, Alaska. Now we have these countries, okay? These countries and the hours ahead of Greenwich time or the hours behind Greenwich time, okay? Now let's try this. China is a +8 country. Look up, we've taken away the time at the top. So now we have to determine it by ourselves. I also have a clock here, so we'll be able to count the hours. China is a +8 country, so let's find out. The Greenwich time is 0. China is a +8 country, so let's trace it down. It's a +8 countries. Can you see on the map where you have +8, +8, +8? All those +8s are countries that have the same time. They are within the same zone. Okay, all right. So let's also see Qatar. Qatar is a +3 country. So whatever time it is right now. All right, let's see. What time is it right now? I'm not able to see the time. I think I should. Let's see if I can see the time. Just a moment. I wish you can talk to me so you'll be able to tell me the time. I'm trying to check for where. Okay, let's see if I'll be able to get the time. Okay, it's 7:52. 7:52. And Qatar is a +3 country. Okay, so what time will it be in Greenwich right now? We are 3 hours ahead in Qatar. Greenwich should be, since it's 7:52 right now, that means we'll take 3 hours back from 7:52. That should be, let me use my clock, 7. They should be behind us, so I'm counting backward by 3 hours. 6, 1, 5, 2, 4, 3. Okay, so they should be, that time should be 4:52 right now, since we are ahead of them. So it means that their time is about 4:52 right now. I hope you understand that logic. Okay, what about Greenland, the minus countries? Let's look at the minus countries. Let's look at Greenland, for example. Greenland is a -3 country. Look at the -3 country. And if the time was, okay, no, we already said the time is 4:52 in Greenwich. So what time will it be? It's 4:52 a.m. in Greenwich. So what time will it be in Greenland? Greenland is a -3 country. That means their time is not even up to Greenwich. They are behind the Greenwich. So 4:52 in Greenwich, they should be behind Greenwich. So we'll still count backwards again by 3 hours, -3 hours from it. So 1, 2, 3, that falls on 1. I'm using my clock to count the hours. So that means, do you know the time in New York right now? It's 1 a.m. So if you call a friend in New York, it's going to be, in Greenland, it's 1 a.m. The same way, let's see New York. New York is -5. So if 1 o'clock is -3, let's add 2 hours more to get -5. That means 1, 2, backward again. Guess what the time is in New York? 11 p.m. yesterday. That's where they are now. Okay, all right, I hope you understand how this time zone works. Just look at the clock, look at the zone, and see if you're counting backward or forward. Okay, this is how we compare the Greenwich time with the plus zones and the minus zones. All right, let's see the next one. Now here is where we need to do some work to tell the time intervals between different time zones. We understand already what the time zone is in different countries, and the zoning is done by the +1, +2, +3, and so on, and the -1, -2, -3. That's how we zone the countries. So now let's see. We have some questions. It says it's 5 a.m. in Qatar. What time is it in New York? Okay, now what's the first thing we do? What zone is Qatar in? Qatar is +3. So we understand that Qatar is +3, is a +3 country, and our time now is 5 a.m. That's an assumption. Our time is 5 a.m. Now, since we know that our time is 5 a.m. in Qatar, let's see what time it will be in GMT. Remember, we did it the other time. We are ahead of GMT by 3 hours. So it means that if our time is on 5 a.m., just look at your clock. If our time is on 5 a.m., that's 5 o'clock in the morning, that means GMT should be behind us. So let's count 3 hours behind. 1, 2, 3. That means GMT should be 2 a.m., right? Okay, now that we know the GMT time to be 2 a.m., let's find out what time will it be in New York. Since it's 2 a.m. in Greenwich or in London, and is New York a plus or minus country? Let's see. New York is a -5 country. New York is a -5 country. That means they are 5 hours behind 2 a.m. So we have to count behind again by 5 hours, right? Okay, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing the counting with my clock. Okay, but I'm using the clock. It makes it easy for us to be able to count the hours. All right, so guess what time it is? It's 5 a.m. in Qatar, it's 2 a.m. in Greenwich time, and in New York it's 9 p.m. yesterday. So what's today's date? 31st of March. New York is still in 30th of March because they are in the minus zone. Okay, all right, let's try another one. It's 7 p.m. in New York. That's an assumption. 7 p.m. in New York. What time is it in Qatar? It's still New York and Qatar. So New York is a -5 country, right? And it's 7 p.m. So the first thing we do on our clock, where is 7 p.m.? That's New York time. All right, let's have 7 p.m. Just imagine that the time is on 7, the long hand is on 12, and the hour hand is on 7. That's the New York time. Now that we understand that, what is Greenwich time? Greenwich time should be ahead of them because you know they're a minus country, right? They are behind the Greenwich time. So let's calculate 5 hours ahead to be able to know the Greenwich time. 5 hours ahead. Don't get confused. They are behind. They are behind. So it means if they are behind, then Greenwich has gone ahead of them by 5 hours. So let's count 5 hours now from 7 o'clock. That's 7 p.m. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Where does the 5 hour end? Sorry? It ends on 12. Remember, Greenwich is ahead of them. So it means that Greenwich time has gone farther than them. Their time is 7 p.m. So Greenwich time has gone farther than them by 5 hours. They are a -5 country. So the time in Greenwich is 12. Okay? All right. Now that we know the time in Greenwich, let's find out what time it will be in Qatar. Qatar is a +3 country, isn't it? Greenwich is their time is 12 o'clock right now. 12 a.m. in the midnight. Remember, we started our counting from 7 p.m. So 12 in Greenwich would be at that same time 12 a.m. So since Qatar is a +3 country, that means we are 3 hours ahead of Greenwich. Okay, so let's count. 3 hours ahead of 12. 1, 2, 3. So when Greenwich is on 12 midnight, we will be on 3 a.m. in the morning, and New York is going to be 7 p.m. yesterday. Okay, so that's how it works. Now let's count the total hours. In fact, if New York is on 7, that means Qatar is how many hours ahead? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means we're actually 8 hours ahead. of them. So you can just always keep that in mind, okay? Let's see the next one. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay, now let's see the next one. The next one is Greenland and China. The time in Greenland is 10 a.m. Okay, it's 10 a.m. in Greenland. And it's asking us what time will it be in China when it's 10 a.m. in Greenland. Let's assume you are in Greenland and you have a friend in China, you want to call the friend. So the question is, what time would you know, or what time would be the proper time for you to call the friend? So let's see. Where does Greenland fall? Greenland is 3 hours behind GMT time, okay? And they said the time is 10 a.m. in Greenland. Since their time is 10 a.m., let's go to our clock. 10 a.m. So we have an imaginary minute hand on 12, hour hand on 10. That's the time for Greenland, 10 a.m. All right. But Greenland, their time is slower than Greenwich time. So it's by 3 hours, correct? Okay. So it means Greenwich has gone ahead of them by 3 hours, right? So if their time is 10 a.m., Greenwich time should be what? 3 hours ahead. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. That means Greenwich, they're already in the afternoon, 1 p.m. Okay? Greenwich is already in the afternoon, 1 p.m. Now, the question says we should find out the time in China. Since we now know that Greenwich is 1 p.m., it will be easy for us to know the time in China. China is a +8 country, and the time is 1 p.m. China goes so fast in everything. All right, so sorry, students, there was a little bit of break there. We were counting the last one we had. That's the one for China, and we said the time is going to be 9 p.m. in China because China has gone ahead. I'm so sorry for that break. We were just about to finish, and then the thing kind of went off. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've really learned a lot today. What did we learn? To read the time difference between different countries. And now we can calculate the time intervals. For example, you now know that the time interval between New York and Qatar is 8 hours. Okay, that's using the Greenwich time. So practice what you have on student book 215 and your workbook 195. If you need more clarifications, please feel free to let me know so I can assist. Okay, send me your answers on Class Dojo. Take a picture of it and send it to me on Class Dojo so that I can correct it. Remember to always stay safe, wash your hands, and eat healthy foods. So we have another lesson tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.